The price of greatness is discipline, not talent, not luck, not connections, not perfect timing. Every one of those things can help, but none of them can replace discipline. Discipline is the price that every great person pays behind closed doors. The problem is that most people admire greatness without respecting the price that created it. They want the reward, but they negotiate with the cost. They want the results, but they avoid the routine. They want to become exceptional while continuing to live like everyone else. The truth is simple. Greatness is expensive. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you late nights of entertainment and early mornings of laziness. It will cost you the habit of quitting every time life becomes uncomfortable. And here's the part that most people never realize. The price must be paid before the reward arrives. Look at construction workers building a skyscraper. For months, sometimes years, all you see is dirt, steel, concrete, and noise. People drive past and wonder why nothing impressive seems to be happening. But the builders understand something the people passing by don't. The strength of the building is decided long before the top floor exists. If they rush the foundation to make the building look taller, the building will eventually collapse under its own weight. Your life is no different. People are so busy trying to look successful that they never become successful. They post about the future they're planning instead of building it. They announce goals they haven't earned yet. They seek applause before they deserve respect. But discipline doesn't care about announcements. Discipline only responds to action. There was a season in my life when I confused desire with commitment. I said I wanted a different life. I said I wanted more discipline. I said I wanted to become the best version of myself. But when I looked at my daily routine, it told a completely different story. My habits were voting against the future I claimed to want. That realization was painful, because it's easy to lie to other people. It's much harder to lie to your own routine. Your routine exposes your priorities, not your words, not your dreams, not your intentions, your routine. Ask yourself something honestly. If someone lived exactly the way you've lived for the past 30 days, would they become the person you hope to become? If the answer is no, then the problem isn't your dream. The problem is your discipline. Most people wait until they feel motivated before they start working. Disciplined people reverse that process. They start working first, then motivation catches up, because action creates emotion far more often than emotion creates action. Think about the first time you exercised after taking weeks off. Before you started, you didn't feel like doing it. Halfway through, your energy changed. Afterward, you felt proud that you showed up. Nothing around you changed. Your decision changed. That single decision changed your emotional state. That's what discipline does. It teaches your emotions to follow your decisions instead of allowing your decisions to follow your emotions. One thing I've noticed is that average people ask one question almost every day. What do I feel like doing? People who become great ask a completely different question. What needs to be done? That one change can transform an entire life, because feelings are temporary. Responsibility isn't. Greatness belongs to people who keep their promises long after their emotions have changed. Imagine two people standing at the edge of a forest. Both say they want to reach the mountain on the other side. The first person walks only when the weather feels perfect. The second person walks whether it's sunny, raining, cold, or uncomfortable. 1 year later, one person is still talking about the mountain. The other is standing on top of it. The destination wasn't different. The discipline was. Most people underestimate how much their future depends on ordinary mornings. Success is rarely decided in dramatic moments. It is decided when the alarm rings. It is decided when the phone is sitting beside the bed. It is decided when nobody is watching. It is decided when you have every excuse to stop and yet choose to continue anyway. Nobody applauds those moments, but those moments create the life that people eventually applaud. Here's something I learned the hard way. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're telling your mind, my word matters. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you're teaching your mind that your excuses matter more than your commitments. Over time, your confidence is built on whichever one you repeat. People often ask why they don't believe in themselves. Sometimes the answer isn't complicated. You've broken too many promises to yourself. You said you'd wake up early, You didn't. You said you'd finish the project. You didn't. You said you'd stop procrastinating. You didn't. After enough broken promises, your own mind stops trusting you. Confidence disappears. Not because you lack ability, because you've trained yourself not to believe your own word. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it rebuilds that trust. One kept promise, then another, then another. Slowly, your identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who finishes. And that identity changes everything. The price of greatness is also saying no. No to distractions. No to unnecessary drama. No to habits that steal your future 1 hour at a time. People think successful individuals have more opportunities. The truth is, they often have more discipline to reject opportunities that don't align with their purpose. Every yes costs something. If you say yes to scrolling for 3 hours, you've said no to learning. If you say yes to comfort, you've said no to growth. If you say yes to procrastination, you've said no to your future. Every decision is an exchange. Every habit is writing tomorrow's story. Another thing that separates disciplined people is their relationship with time. Average people spend time. Disciplined people invest time. There's a difference. Spending leaves you with less. Investing leaves you with more. Every hour reading, every hour practicing, every hour building a skill, every hour improving your health. Those hours never disappear. They return with interest. One day they return as confidence. One day they return as opportunity. One day they return as freedom. But only if you were disciplined enough to make the investment when nobody else could see the reward. Most people quit because they don't see immediate results. They forget that bamboo spends years growing roots before it suddenly rises above the ground. To someone watching from the outside, it appears to grow overnight. But the truth is, the real growth happened where nobody could see it. Your discipline is doing the same thing. Every early morning, every difficult decision, every completed workout, every chapter you read, every distraction you resisted, every promise you kept. You're growing roots. Don't abandon the process simply because the results haven't appeared yet. One day, people will call your success overnight. Only you will know it was built through years of invisible discipline, because greatness has never been free. Greatness has always demanded a price, and the currency it has always accepted is discipline. And the moment you truly accept that discipline is the price of greatness, you stop complaining about the cost. You stop asking why the journey is difficult, because you finally understand that the difficulty is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. The difficulty is the admission fee. Every worthwhile destination has a price. Every meaningful achievement demands something from you before it gives anything back. Think about a blacksmith shaping a sword. The steel is placed into intense heat, then struck over and over again with a hammer. If that piece of steel could speak, it would probably think it was being destroyed. But the blacksmith knows something the steel does not. Every strike is removing weakness. Every moment in the fire is increasing strength. Every stage of the process is preparing it for a purpose greater than it could understand. Life often works the same way. The pressure you're facing may not be there to break you. It may be there to shape you. The setbacks you're experiencing may not be punishment. They may be preparation. The discipline you're developing today is creating a version of you that can carry responsibilities your current self could never handle. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that discipline is only necessary when you're chasing a goal. But discipline isn't something you borrow for a season. It's something you build into your identity. Goals will change. Seasons of life will change. Circumstances will change. But if discipline becomes part of who you are, you'll continue making progress no matter where life takes you. I remember watching people who always seemed to have everything under control. They were calm under pressure. They met deadlines. They kept their promises. They stayed focused while everyone else became distracted. At first, I thought they were simply born that way. But the more I observed them, the more I realized something important. They weren't relying on talent. They were relying on habits. They had repeated disciplined actions so many times that those actions became automatic. What looked effortless was actually the result of years of consistent effort. That's what discipline does. It turns difficult actions into normal behavior. The first time you wake up before sunrise, it feels difficult. The 100th time, it feels natural. The first workout feels painful. The 100th workout feels like part of your identity. The first time you resist distraction, it feels like a sacrifice. The 100th time, it feels like self-respect. Discipline changes what feels normal. And once your standards become higher than your excuses, your life begins to change. Most people are searching for shortcuts. The disciplined person is searching for systems. Shortcuts create temporary success. Systems create lasting success. A shortcut asks, how can I get results quickly? A system asks, how can I become the kind of person who consistently produces results? That question changes everything, because success isn't an event, it's a lifestyle. Another truth about greatness is that it often feels lonely. There will be mornings when you're the only one awake, weekends when you're working while others are relaxing. Moments when your discipline will make you seem different from the people around you. Don't mistake loneliness for failure. Sometimes being alone is the cost of becoming someone different. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because your priorities have changed. You'll begin saying no to things you once accepted. You'll protect your time. You'll guard your focus. You'll become more intentional about who you spend your energy with. And some people won't understand that. That's okay. Not everyone is meant to understand the sacrifices required to build the life you're trying to create. The people who admire greatness often don't see the years of invisible preparation behind it. They don't see the books you read, the workouts you completed, the habits you refused to break, the nights you stayed disciplined while everyone else chose comfort. They only see the outcome. Never compare your beginning to someone else's result. Compare your effort today with your effort yesterday. That's the only comparison that truly matters. There will also be days when discipline feels unrewarded. You'll do everything right and still face disappointment. You'll stay consistent and progress will seem slow. You'll wonder if your work is making any difference at all. Those are the moments that separate dreamers from builders. Because dreamers need immediate rewards. Builders understand delayed rewards. They know that today's effort may not produce today's results, but it is always producing tomorrow's opportunities. Every disciplined action is an investment, and investments grow through patience. Don't dig up the seed every week to check if it's growing. Water it, protect it, trust the process, keep working. One day the harvest will speak louder than your doubts ever could. There is another price that greatness demands: humility. The moment you believe you've learned enough, you stop growing. Disciplined people remain students for life. They continue reading, they continue learning, they continue asking questions, they continue improving. Not because they feel inadequate, because they know growth never ends. The greatest competitors are often the greatest learners, and learning requires humility. Every day gives you another chance to become stronger than you were yesterday. Not through dramatic change, but through repeated faithful decisions. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you started. Speak with integrity. Protect your health. Use your time wisely. Keep your promises. These actions may never make headlines, but they build lives that are impossible to ignore. One day, people will ask you how you became so disciplined. They'll think there was a secret. There wasn't. You simply stopped negotiating with your future. You stopped allowing temporary comfort to steal permanent success. You decided that your dreams deserved more than occasional effort. They deserve daily commitment. So remember this every morning you wake up. Greatness isn't hiding from you. It isn't reserved for a lucky few. It isn't waiting for someone with more talent. It is waiting for the person willing to pay the price every single day. The price isn't money. It isn't status. It isn't popularity. The price has always been the same. Discipline when nobody is watching. Discipline when nobody believes in you. Discipline when progress is invisible. Discipline when quitting feels easier. Because those quiet moments are writing the story your future will one day tell. And years from now, when people look at your life and admire what you've become, they won't see every sacrifice. every early morning, every difficult decision, every temptation you resisted, or every promise you kept to yourself. But you will. You'll remember that greatness wasn't given to you. It wasn't handed to you. It wasn't discovered by accident. It was built one disciplined decision at a time, one ordinary day at a time, one kept promise at a time, until the person staring back at you in the mirror became someone you once only imagined. That is the true price of greatness. And if you're willing to pay that price consistently, patiently, and without seeking applause, then greatness is no longer just a dream. It becomes the direction of your life.